Hi everyone, sorry about all of the technical difficulties with the laptop's camera not working, and also my phone, the live feed, that it kind of cancelled out or weren't working properly as well as it should. So today's topic is about the ego. And with tonight being and last night, there was a full moon out in Gemini, and it's a lot to do with clearing, and that would also trigger off the ego. Every single one of us has an ego. Now, before I even got into this industry, I also thought that the ego was only with regards of celebrities, that they were being egotistical and all about themselves, and also putting people down. That's what you associate the ego with. But they're only elements of what the ego actually is, or segments. Not all of us would have the characteristics associated with being egotistical and also putting people down. Um, it is all in subcategories, and the ego is mainly fear based. And what I mean by fear based is that is the root to worry and your insecurities. That is the main cause for all of them to occur within your thought process and within your mind. And with these full moons as well that we have tonight, from last night and tonight, they trigger the ego because it wants, the full moon wants to let go of what no longer serves us. And a lot of people at the minute will be feeling a lot of stress and can be feeling very anxious, and their anxiety could be triggered because the energies at the minute are very intense, particularly as we're coming towards the end of the year. These are intensified because we need to let go of everything of this year that we have gathered up, all of the drama that might have been created from the start of the year right up to this moment, and also from people that no longer are, I suppose, not useful, but no longer help us on the same level, or that we may be giving too much of our energy towards them and we're getting nothing back. And that also can trigger off the ego too. So remember, the ego is fear based. And with the Native Americans, they actually had a name for the ego. They called it the two wolves. So you have a good side and you have an evil side. I'm going to show you here as an example, and that's within every single one of us. We have a good side and we have a bad side, and that's within as well the yin and yang symbol, where you have one black and with a white dot, and white with a black dot. That every good there's a little badness, and every bad there's a bit of good in people. So I'm just going to show you that image. Hopefully now with this you might be able to see it, that this is the bad and this is the good side. And the good side would be known as your intuition, and I might get a little bit give a little bit more information about your intuition as well, along with this, about the ego. So the ego, so I'm going to just put up this diagram now here that I did up. Hope you can see it some bit. So you have the fear, which is the main root of the ego. Then you have worry, which can be triggered off from the fear. You have anxiousness, and then that leads to stress. So with the fear is always triggered off first. Okay, either it can be something that you have been reading, something you've seen on TV, something that maybe your friends or family that has said, and also your own thoughts out of the blue that would just trigger off. So the fear would be triggered off first. You wouldn't even notice it after being triggered until it gets into the worry. And once it's in the worry, then what the ego does then, it kind of triggers maybe another fear. And that goes into another bit of worry. Worry can be about finances, about the future, things you might have did in the past. Mainly it is things that you mightn't have any control of in the here and the now. And it just completely tries to take over the mind, overwhelm it, because once it does that, it has complete control over you. And that then, as I said, leads the worry into anxiousness, anxiety. And it's just a build up of all of that trying to whittle down where exactly did these come from, trying to sort them out yourself. And there's a part of you that knows that you can't sort it out yourself, but that then leads into the stress. The stress then is the physical outlet, it's the physical release. It's the physical I suppose knowledge of the body trying to let you know that there's something isn't right. And the stress can come by headaches, tension headaches, that would near enough will come from the thoughts, or it can also come from like a nauseous feeling because your whole body is being overwhelmed by these thoughts which are established by the ego. And the way I kind of work with the clients as well as myself, I tell them to work backwards. So what I mean by that is calm and work with the stress first. So calming down your body first. What is causing the stress? Whittle it down. Then go into the anxiousness. Okay, so this is what's causing the stress, which probably is what causing the anxiousness. Then going into worry. What exactly am I worried about? Has it happened? Majority of the time it hasn't happened, and majority of the time the worry is because of the future, more so than anything. Right, why am I worried about it? What is the fear? What am I afraid of that is causing me to be this worried? And that is the main reason. That's where you're after getting to the root of what is causing that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the next part of the diagram. These are just a few examples, just so that you know yourself and understand as well about yourself that when it comes to these full moons or times of feeling like that stressful, it's a time for us to unwind down and listen and tune into ourselves to understand more about ourselves. And that's what I'm trying to help you with this evening, with understanding about the ego, that every single one of us has an ego. Every one of us has an ego around this world, including myself, because we all have fears. You know, we all have worries that we need to just work on, is to work on them and to understand. And yeah, that they're a kind of illusion, because this world is mainly fear-based, if you get what I mean. Through the news, there's a lot of, you'd have wars and terrorism and things like that. It's just projecting out fear, and of course that would makes us like very fearful about what's out there as well. And that's why I was giving the example earlier about the TV, that would trigger us off. That would trigger off your ego. So I'm just going to go on to the next one so that you can see. So you have insecurities, and that leads to jealousy, and it's all comes to fear. Well, some insecurities, I was just bringing up insecurities because jealousy is usually down to insecurities. So again, like with the worry, jealousy as well is established through a fear. Like for example, you see someone that is so successful, and maybe you do aspire to want to be that successful, except you have this fear that, or an insecurity that, oh, you won't be able to make it, you won't be able to get that far. And that is established by a fear that you could be, you could think that you're going to look like an idiot, or that you know, you'll never be successful, that, you know, um uh that, you know, it's just like blockages within yourself due to those fears. And then you could be just jealous of that person because they have something that you actually do want, but it's your own fears that creates the insecurities that are causing you to be blocked off from that. That's why I always say jealousy comes from a place of fear as well. It's your own fear, and you know, you just see things in people that you want for yourself, but you know, you can't get it. And it's the same as well with girls in particular on nights out, that they could see, you know, other pretty girls or anything like that. And yeah, jealousy comes into the fact that, you know, they themselves will be putting themselves down, and it's their own fear as well, their own fear that they're not uh they don't deserve it, or they're not good enough. It's their procrastination is what it is. So that all comes from a state of fear, and fear leads to the insecurity, and then that leads into the jealousy. And this is just the final part with regards to this section, okay? So I hope you can see that. So fear, hiding the emotions, sorry, frustration and anger, or anger. Again, sometimes, you know, sometimes anger, there's an understanding behind anger, like, you know, some of the things that have been happening recently in the papers with regards to the rape case, that a lot of people are angry because there was no justice behind it. That is an understandable anger. That's not coming from, well, it can be coming from a place of fear, because, you know, if, you know, that could happen to a family member or anything like that, and that they won't have a leg to stand on, that their underwear, you know, gives a consent, that can come from that place of fear as well. But that is an understandable anger. While as the anger is what I'm referring to here regards to the ego, is that instead of saying out your emotions, that you could get triggered by a person that, you know, could start to kind of like as if a confrontation almost, and you could feel hurt, but automatically the hurt kind of could transform into anger or into frustration, instead of talking out saying, well, you actually hurt me there, you know, that weren't very nice. It goes into defense, and it goes into an attack as well, that you're defending your emotions, you're kind of, instead of letting them out, you're creating a shield around them, and you're just lashing out at that person, instead of just talking things out calmly and, you know, preventing a confrontation, and, you know, preventing the tension between the two people. That side of anger, and things then will be said that you didn't mean, and just initially to hurt that person because that person hurt you, instead of saying, you hurt me and this is the way I'm feeling. That's the way the ego goes. And again, that's true of fear. You're afraid of showing the emotions. Maybe it could make you, you know, feel weak or something, that you just lash out, that you're like, no, 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 I'm not going to show this person that, because they don't deserve it, they're after hurting me, so I should hurt them back. I should, you know, just be completely angry back to them. And it doesn't work. It never works. You know, two wrongs don't make it right. So that's the way the ego works in that sense. So once you understand of the ego that is only fear-based, and fears are usually false. I know within every single one of us, we believe the fear is as fact, but it is false. It is an illusion, a complete illusion. You can bypass your fears, and you can conquer them. And to conquer them is to understand yourself, and do it bit by bit by bit. Conquering your fears bit by bit by bit. And worrying, you can't control things in the future. You can't. You can't control things in the past. You can only control things right now, in the here and the now. Okay, so that's going to lead me on to the next part. Okay, now I hope you can see this. So the ego can work from two sides of the coin. Okay, so it can work from control and feeling out of control. Okay, so I'm going to say the control part. Alright, so the ego would say, well, you need to get stuff in control right now. You need to control this. Like, it could be like, say, for example, maybe your finances, or maybe a business will say that certain things, right, you need to control this, you need to sort this out. It could be the finances of the business will say you need to sort it out now. You need to come to a solution to sort things out now, to get the people to come in now, right now. You are in control. This is your responsibility. You need to do it. And there are certain things, like say with seasons, with January, or even sometimes in holiday seasons, that things would just quieten down. And that's just with everywhere. Things just quieten down. But the ego would be saying, you are in control. You need to control this. This is your responsibility. If you don't do this, you're going to, be in a lot of trouble into the future, into the future. And this is where the ego flips the side as well, right? That it's saying you are in control, but then it's saying when things aren't working out the way that they should be, it's saying then that you're out of control because you should be in control, if you get what I mean. Like that during the quiet season, it's saying you're in control and you need to try and bring it in. And when it's not working, it's saying, well, your mind then would say, well, everything's falling apart. Why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? And that's the way the ego works. It's saying you're in control. You need to sort it out. You need to find a solution to this. And it just then flips it and saying, oh, look the way you are. You're completely out of control. You have, everything going from you. You're completely out of control from this. And that's the way it works to gain power, to make sure that you have that power. And it does that with various things in your life, and with certain events that you don't have control over. You can, as I said, you can only control in the here and the now. And with the ego, it's trying to get you to think that you have control over your future, 100% control over your future, and that you need to do it yourself. It's all down to that as well. It makes you create a fear of not talking things out with people, not to get the advice or maybe the help that you need. It's trying to do it yourself. And that's what the ego can be as well. Selfish a bit. That it prevents you from looking after yourself. And the out of control is when, that thing isn't working, because it wouldn't work. There's no stability there. You can't control things in the future, and that's the way it works. And once you understand that you can only control in the here and now, that things will start to work out better for you, that you can listen to yourself more in the here and the now as well, and just tune into yourself. And this is where I'm going to just move in slightly now into the intuition. Okay, so the intuition then is, as I said from the start of this video, is the good side. Okay, the intuition gives you the right guidance, the guidance that you need. It is out of the blue ideas. It is certain thoughts that might keep coming back, but with these thoughts, they are never heavy. They're never that heavy feeling that you would get with the worry or the stress, or the anxiousness, or anything like that, or anything fear-based. Anything fear-based is that heavy feeling. Is that heaviness over your head, your shoulders, like you feel the weight of the world is on your shoulders and just over your head. The intuition is much more calm. It's much more peaceful. That when you get those thoughts of where you need to go, what you need to do, that you just have this overwhelming sense of peace, and it's like a knowing that you need to do it. And also your gut as well, your gut instincts. Your gut instincts, you would feel again a calmness, an overwhelming sense of calm. But also, if it is something that you really, really need to do, it's almost like a pulling sensation, like a magnet. You're being drawn towards it. But the ego is the complete opposite. And that's how your physical body lets you know when the ego is after completely overwhelming the system. It's that heavy, nauseous feeling in your stomach, and also that heaviness over your head. And also, as I said, it can be tension headaches, migraines, anything like that. It's letting you know the energies in the body is out of sync, and also that the ego is after overwhelming the body. The intuition is the opposite. It's the calm, it's the knowing that this is what you need to do, and also the knowing that things are going to be okay. As I always say to people, with clients as well, when things quieten down, is to allow the body and also to your energy to balance itself back up. And yes, the ego can come in, but the body knows what's right, and the energy knows as well what you need. Okay, the universe knows what you need, and maybe at that time when things quieten down, it's just to allow your body to ease down and unwind along with your energy to balance itself back up, so that to prepare itself as well for when you're going to start getting busy again. But that is the time as well that the ego can trigger in. But just to know everything works out right at the end. Everything works out exactly the way it should be at the end. So hopefully now this evening that you've learned stuff for yourself. You can save this video for yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to see the diagrams. Let me know if you can in the comment section. I might type them up or something for you. And feel free to share this video with anyone that might be interested in it, and anyone that you might know at the minute that is feeling just a bit stressful or intense, that it might help them at the minute, just to understand of themselves that everyone is feeling this way in one form or another at the minute. As I said, it's just down to the energies, and with this full moon tonight now, it would have triggered an awful lot of people. It's actually supposed to be triggering a lot of signs just to release what no longer serves them, and the ego does try to prevent that by creating these fears. It's just to release what no longer serves you, certain habits from your past, coping mechanisms that are no longer working at the minute. The ego will try and to say that they still do, even though they don't anymore. And that is all a healing process, and it's good because you're going to come out stronger than what you were before. You're listening more to yourself, and you're understanding more about yourself. So that's what the ego is. That's what, and that is everything, near enough everything about the ego. Just to understand it is fear-based. So I hope everyone will have a wonderful night, Friday night, and have a great weekend. And hopefully I'll do one of these again. I'll probably do it in this video form because it seems to be working better than the live feeds or anything like that. So have a great night, and I'll talk soon. Bye.